Welcome to the deep dive. So, you sent us a really interesting stack of material on a political thriller, The Boomerang by Robert Bailey. And the consensus seems to be it's way more than just a thriller. It's looking deep into, well, moral failure, systemic issues, right? So, our mission today is pretty clear. We need to unpack how Bailey mixes these genres together, get into the honestly shocking conspiracy at the heart of it, and really understand the protagonist's motivation. It becomes incredibly personal, doesn't it? It's not just what happens, but, why it matters. Let's get into it.
It's fascinating right off the bat how people are describing it. Not just suspense novel. They're calling it a moral inquiry wrapped in high-stakes urgency.
Yeah.
Which, wow.
Yeah.
And it hits you immediately with this huge question about doing the right thing. Like, is exposing some massive truth worth, and this is the quote, burning the world down economically? That sets the whole stage.
That's about as high as stakes get, really. And it's interesting coming from Robert Bailey specifically. I mean, he's a Wall Street Journal bestseller, but mostly known for his Southern legal thrillers, right? 10 of them.
Exactly. He's a trial attorney himself. So books like The Professor, Between Black and White, they have that courtroom feel.
You can feel that legal background.
Definitely. So The Boomerang is a real pivot, a pretty gutsy one, I'd say, moving from that Southern courtroom drama to this huge, almost paranoid global conspiracy landscape.
And the analyses point this out, this blend of genres. It's not just one thing.
No, it's this mix of political paranoia, you've got a medical conspiracy element, and then kind of surprisingly what they call a modern-day Western. That blend really changes the game for what a thriller can tackle.
A modern Western. In a DC thriller, that sounds unexpected.
It does, right. It suggests the usual DC power plays aren't enough to contain what unfolds. But we do start there, in DC. Our main guy is Eli James. He's chief of staff of the president, Lionel Cantrell. Polished, powerful figure.
Okay, standard DC setup.
But here's the key thing. Eli and President Cantrell, they're childhood friends. From small-town Alabama, that history, that deep loyalty, it's established right at the start. It gives those early White House scenes real weight.
Ah, so it's personal from the get-go. That trust is going to be tested, I assume.
Oh, yeah, violently tested.
Yeah.
And it all kicks off with this medical secret. President Cantrell gets diagnosed with terminal colon cancer.
Oh.
But then, almost miraculously, he goes into remission. Really fast, suspiciously fast. The treatment he got, codenamed the Boomerang.
The Boomerang, okay. What is it?
Well, this is where it gets dark. It's not just some experimental drug that worked. It's quickly revealed to be an actual, honest-to-God cure for cancer. Fully realized.
And a cure for cancer.
Yes, but there's a catch. A huge one. The price for the president's survival is silence. Absolute, total, permanent silence. He can never tell anyone the cure exists.
Wait. Hide a cure for cancer? Why?
Yeah.
Who would do that? We need to unpack that rationale because that's staggering.
It really is. And this is where the book digs into that systemic corruption idea. It's not just one bad guy. It's a clandestine government group led by a General Randolph.
Okay.
And their reasoning, it's purely economic, chillingly pragmatic. They argue releasing the cure would absolutely ruin the USA's economy.
Ruin it. How? Because people would get better.
Because, and this is Randolph's cold calculation, billions upon billions of dollars are wrapped up in the oncology market. Think about it.
Right.
Pharma, research, hospitals, jobs, the whole infrastructure.
The entire cancer industry.
Exactly. In their view, releasing a cure collapses that market overnight. It would, as they see it, destroy this country, if not the world as we know it. They're literally prioritizing the economy, the market, over millions of lives.
That's horrifying. It's not even about malice. It's about preserving this broken, money-driven system. The cure isn't a miracle. It's an economic threat.
A weapon of mass destruction for the economy is how they frame it.
Yeah.
It forces you to confront this idea that, in this world, money can literally be valued more than human life.
So, Eli James, the chief of staff, he knows this. He knows his friend, the president, is hiding a cure.
He finds out, and he's grappling with the sheer ethical nightmare of it all. And right when this massive abstract conspiracy is unfolding, bang, it hits him personally, hard.
This must be where his daughter comes in. Bella, right?
Right. His 17-year-old daughter, Bella, while Eli's dealing with all this White House secrecy, she gets diagnosed. Terminal inoperable lung cancer.
Oh, no.
And just like that, everything changes. The secret cure, the Boomerang, isn't some political problem anymore. It's the only hope for his daughter. It becomes this desperate primal quest. The DC games just evaporate.
That collision, the global conspiracy versus the intensely personal crisis, that must be the core engine of the story. It forces Eli to transform.
Absolutely. He can't be the polished political operator anymore.
Right.
The sources describe him as a great and a crisis manipulator, but now he becomes a desperate father on the run.
On the run, so he breaks ranks.
He has to. That parental instinct, the need to save Bella, it just overrides everything else. His job, his loyalty to the president, even the supposed stability of the world economy. None of it matters as much as his daughter.
And the structure of the novel reflects this journey.
Yeah, analysts point to a very clear, almost cinematic structure. Act 1. The claustrophobic White House scenes, the secrets. Act 2. The discovery, the moral collapse, figuring out the truth. Act 3. He's out, escape, flight into the desert southwest.
The desert. Okay, now I'm seeing that modern Western angle.
Exactly. And then the finale is the big standoff. That shift is crucial from what they call DC polish, the toots and marble, to desert gunmetal. It strips everything down to survival and desperation.
So who does he meet in the desert? This must be where Nestor Sanchez comes in, the beast.
That's him. That's for the beast, Sanchez. He's described as this larger-than-life character, a ruthless land magnate, a towering presence, but also someone forged by violence and principle. He's complex.
So not just a simple ally.
Not at all. He gives Eli refuge, protects him, but he's also constantly judging him. He operates by a different code, like desert principles. It's a stark contrast to Eli's DC world, and it forces Eli to confront his own ethics, his own past actions. It's a really compelling dynamic.
Okay, so Eli's running from this machine. How does Bailey portray the people chasing him, the antagonists?
That's an interesting choice Bailey makes. The actual antagonists, the government agencies, this big pharma company called the Faceless Machine, the media people they manipulate, they're kept kind of underdeveloped. Intentionally so, it seems.
Why underdeveloped?
The analysis suggests it's to emphasize the impersonal nature of the threat. It's not about one evil mastermind. It's the system itself, the bureaucracy, the economic interests protecting themselves. The enemy isn't really a person you can confront.
It's the machine itself, the structure.
Exactly, which ties right into the bigger critiques the novel levels. If you zoom out, he's really tackling some huge societal issues. Well, first, obviously, medical ethics and corporate power. Who decides who gets life-saving cures when billions are at stake? The whole monetization of life.
Yeah, that's central.
Then there's the theme of parental sacrifice. It's an ancient story, right?
Yeah.
A parent against impossible odds for their child. Bailey taps into that primal drive.
It gives it that emotional core.
Definitely.
Oh.
And it forces you, the reader, to wrestle with this idea of truth versus stability. Is exposing this horrifying truth worth potentially causing global chaos? The book makes you sit with that uncomfortable question. Does economic stability justify, well, that?
And what about power? Eli starts out as chief of staff, near the top.
Right, and the book just demolishes that myth of control. Eli thinks he's powerful, the president thinks he is, but they realize they're just cogs. The system, the conspiracy is bigger than any individual, even the president. Their power is shown to be, in many ways, an illusion.
That's a pretty sharp critique of how power actually works or doesn't work in these huge systems.
It is. Now, shifting gears slightly, what about the writing itself? How does Bailey pull this off, especially with this genre shift?
The reviews seem pretty positive on the craft.
Yeah, generally very positive. The prose is called lean and loaded. You still feel that trial lawyer background. His knack for pacing and argumentation really comes through. Dialogue is tense.
And the Arizona parts. The desert.
Apparently, those descriptions are standout. Really sweeping, cinematic, capturing that harsh, wide-open landscape. It sounds like he handles the shift in setting really well.
Okay, so strong writing, compelling premise. But no book is perfect. What about the critiques? Did the execution fully land according to the analyses?
There are a few consistent points. One is the ending. After all this buildup, this massive global conspiracy and personal desperation, some felt the ending had a cinematic neatness. A bit too tidy, maybe.
Like it wrapped things up a little too easily, given the scale of the problem.
Sort of. It perhaps simplifies the huge systemic issues that the book raises so powerfully. It's always tricky ending these high-concept stories,
Yeah. True. Anything else?
The emotional arc with the daughter Bella. Her illness is the catalyst, the absolute driver for Eli. But some analyses mention that the depiction of her illness, the emotional weight of it, occasionally feels a bit rushed.
Rushed how?
Maybe in service of the plot's momentum.
Yeah.
Like you don't always feel the full, crushing weight of her deterioration as much as you could, which slightly lessens the impact of Eli's desperation at times.
Okay, I can see that. Need to feel that clock ticking viscerally. And character-wise.
The main critique there seems to be around the secondary female characters. Outside of Eli's wife and daughter, other women are apparently relegated to secondary roles. A missed opportunity, perhaps, for more depth and different perspectives, especially in a story grappling with such big moral questions.
Gotcha. So overall, what's the takeaway for you listening?
Well, The Boomerang comes highly recommended, especially if you like that high-stakes political thriller genre. Think The Pelican Brief, maybe The Night Agent, that kind of tension.
But with a really strong emotional core?
Exactly. It grounds the huge conspiracy in something deeply personal and relatable. It's a really potent look at where government, big money, and basic morality collide and break down.
And the lasting idea seems to be about the nature of fighting these systems.
Yeah, the key insight, I think, is that when you're up against corruption that's tied into the economy itself, the enemy isn't one man, but an entire broken system. It's not about taking down a villain, it's about confronting a structure. That makes it feel very relevant, very modern.
Okay, so that leaves us, and leaves you, with a really provocative question to chew on after this deep dive. Imagine this scenario. A powerful group decides that releasing a life-saving truth, let's say, Bailey's premise, a cure for all cancer, would shatter the world's economy. Destroy civilization as we know it, they argue. How long do you wait? How long do you keep that secret if the cost of your silence is losing the person you love most in the world?
Yeah.
The Boomerang puts you right in the middle of that impossible choice. What would you do?